hands behind the hips. Find the sitting bones grounded and the feet in front of you. You can again stay supported with the hands behind your back. Maybe you're ready to take it a little bit further, so you'll bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. I'm going to use that internal energy that we just connected from base to top of spine. I'm lifting up. If it helps you, if it's a little easier, you can think of the top of your head reaching up too. Just make sure that you're not doing anything funny with your neck. A light tuck of the chin is helpful. Some of you might be ready. You feel lightness in the feet, right? That energy is, we're now supported through our center. The feet can lift. Arms maybe stretch forward. Stay focused, stay present to what's going on in your body or your mind. And gently release feet back to the earth, hands come down. You might scooch the hips back or just slide your feet forward. We're gonna straighten out the legs for our staff pose, Dandasana. With this pose, a modification, a slight bend to the knees. More importantly, our bowl is upright, so there's no tip forward, you're not arching your spine, you're not hunched or rounded back. Again, if you need to, you can use a little extra height at first. I especially like a little rolled up blanket or mat to help me with that, right? So you got some place to put your hands too. Okay, next step to our staff pose, we begin to lightly push down with the palms into the mat or into whatever you have on either side of you. And as we do this, we can feel an additional lift. This is another bandha, we'll talk about it another time. Actually coming up through the center of the ribs, our diaphragm, our breathing muscle. And this lift continues that drive of energy, sorry, wrong side there, up to the back of soft palate, up to the crown of the head. We're using now our center as well as our connection through the upper limbs to help give us a little boost. This boost also works with an overhead reach. So as you stretch those arms up, you can feel the arms reaching, continuing to lift through the ribs. Maybe that even allows you to relax your shoulders, your neck a little bit here. On an exhale, take a forward fold. Again, knees bent is a nice modification there. Just go very softly. It doesn't matter how far you go. Hands down beside the feet. If you can easily find the feet, great. Let the chin tuck. Again, we're not going for the deepest stretch possible here yet. Start to open up the body. Take a few breaths. Back up to a seat. Okay, one more time with that boat pose. Let's see if you can feel that energy of our center lifting through the ribs, Uddiyana Bandha. So now I'm again maybe gonna lift my feet, knees bent. You can stretch the arms up. Again, feel that little extra lifting energy. Maybe again to balance, you can straighten the legs, see where you can take it. And release. Again, feet back to the mat. We'll bring our hands behind us this time for our upward table pose. Again, height is not so important, attainment not so important. If you are again limited in the wrists or shoulders, a modification, turn the fingers outward slightly or go a little wider with your hands. I'm gonna start with that nice open chest position, shoulders are back, a little energy between the shoulder blades. Again, same as our bridge pose, we're just lifting the root of the body. So slowly start to lift the pelvis up. Find whatever height works for you. Now again, we don't just stay with the energy stuck in one spot. So you want to project through the back of soft palate, through the crown, ground down through the feet, right? Give the energy somewhere to go. A few breaths here. I'm going to come back to the traditional position with my fingers pointing forward. Again, just stay what feels good for you. Stay with what feels good for you. And release back down. Now, if that was a lot for you, feel free to just take the next few breaths back in your forward fold here and chill out. If you want to start to feel a little more energy in the body, one of my favorite movements, one of the more traditional movements in the yoga practice, the Tibetan Rite 4. So I'm going to bring it back to my slight forward fold here. Hands are underneath the shoulders, so a little bit in front of where they were when we're upright. And you're going to create that same energy. So you're going to lift from the root, begin to extend through the top of the spine, top of the head. And on your exhale, the arms squeeze in and we can maybe find a lift to the hips. And again, if they don't go anywhere, that's totally fine. Just notice what happens. Give it a try anyways. Even if you're here, you can still do the practice. So I'm now going to, on my inhale, lift the root of the body up, reach through the crown. On my exhale, keeping the energy strong through Uddiyana Bandha, that's the lift through the center of the rib cage, I can begin to thread my hips through my arms. Back and forth, inhaling up, exhaling through, or maybe just plopping back down. If you can take it through, you're pretty advanced in your practice. A little bend in the elbows can start to wake up our biceps and our chest a bit. If you want to activate those energies, great. Again, you don't have to. I'm still lifting through my center, so there's no strain as I take it however deeply I can go. Let's practice 3 more breaths. Whatever pace of your breath works for you. Again, if you feel like you're tired, you can bail out and take that forward fold at any time. And release, shake out the arms a little bit. Let that energy go. Okay, we'll come into our tabletop pose next. So from upward table to our regular table. A couple ways to transition. You can literally lean to one hip, swing the legs around. That's a nice easy way. Some of you might cross the lower legs, walk the hands forward, flip over, or if you have a fancier method, that's cool with me. We'll just touch base on a few poses here really simply. So our cats and cows, I like to again think of how I'm relating to the energies around me, like the gravity that brings my body towards the earth. Think of now that line, again from the base of the pelvis, up through the top of the spine. The line actually continues to the crown point of our head, so we can now focus there, if that's helpful. On your exhale, the 2 ends of the line drop towards the earth. So again, just kind of let go into it. If it helps you, you can create a little energy in the lower belly or the pelvic floor. That'll naturally put us into that grounding direction. On the inhale, think of floating up towards the sky with those 2 points. So the top of the head, base of the pelvis lift, and then release. Notice where the effort is, where the mind is. Some of you might again want to advance the practice a little. That's totally fine. Great options here. Toes tucked under, knees floating 1 inch to 2 off the floor. And I'm still moving from my center, so I should still be able to find kind of that freedom in the hips. If it's more challenging here, it just might mean that the muscles of your hips are kind of taking over, doing a little more of the work. That's fine. Again, just notice what arises, what comes up. Okay, next step, either knees off or on. I'm gonna move my hips back a little bit, inhaling, and then come forward on my exhale. You might need to slide the hands forward a little, so knees are grounded as you adjust your hands, obviously, and then that just gives you a little more room. It's a little easier on the wrists if you're still kind of warming into the wrist joints. Off my knees, maybe I can take it all the way to the plank pose, and then just start to reach back. The plank, we're still kind of tucking a little bit, so I'm grounding through my root, so my lower back, my hips are a little more relaxed, and I'm supporting myself through that action. More advanced yogis can actually even test their wrist mobility by coming forward, lifting through the center of the skull, so that again, we're not forcing that energy through the joints too much, and you're still supporting yourself through center. Resting pose is either child's pose or downward dog. For child's pose, knees can slide wide, just back towards the heels, arms stretch forward, and the forehead rests. For our downward dog, it's again an inversion, so just focus on lifting the root of your body towards the sky and letting the top of the head drop towards the earth. To start off in my down dogs, I usually bend my knees a little. My hamstrings aren't super open yet this morning, so that's gonna allow me to lift the base body a little bit higher. You also wanna make sure that you're reaching through the arms, so I'm stretching out, right? I'm not collapsing in my shoulders. I'm actually letting the shoulders, the hands, reach towards the earth from the center of the body. Same with the heels, begin to ground down. Maybe the legs straighten, maybe you wanna move a little bit there. If you're just chilling in child's pose, you can notice a few things here too. So that slight reach through the top of our head will give us a little more stretch and ability to relax the shoulders and the neck. Face, jaw, all relaxed here as well. And we'll take it to a forward fold next. So if you're in child's pose, just lift the hips away from the heels, slide your hand back, tuck the toes under. If you can find the downward dog, great. If not, you can simply step one foot forward and then bring the other foot forward or come up to that forward fold, however works. In our downward dog, we'll just walk the feet and hands together. One last thing to check in with here before we get up to our standing poses, I'm going to need to readjust my camera a little bit. So as you look down, again, we can find our feet, those second and third toes pointing straight ahead. I'm just going to use my thumbs, press between the big toe knuckle, the second toe knuckle. Just feel that spot. Notice how that part of your foot grounds into the mat or the earth. We'll do the same thing with the pinky toe knuckle next. So just find your thumbs on that pinky toe knuckle, push straight down. Feel the connection. Again, in our forward folds, if you are a little tighter, soft bend in the knees, that's a great modification. Lastly, I'm gonna grab the backs of my ankles, calves, whatever you can find, and just sense the heels. Think of the center of your heel grounding down. And then all three of those points on each foot, you can feel an equal pressure to give you balance. Again, this is what we aim for in our physical practice, at least, whether you're there or not yet, that's okay, just try to find it, focus. Soft bend in the knees. Now I'm gonna reverse my inversion by grounding the root, so tucking down at the base of the pelvis, slowly rising up, head comes up last. You might lose my head here. And then when you get to the top, you can just relax the shoulders. Okay, we'll readjust.